Welcome back to the studio. Good to see you all here. Today we are going to be completing the key painting that you saw in the last video. It's going to be another extended version of this video, so you're not going to miss anything really. But yeah, we're going to be completing that today. Now, if you do want to be able to paint like this, I do have an online painting school where we work in oils and acrylics. There are new acrylic lessons now available, and it's all pretty much focused on photorealism, but there are some other genres in there as well for you to learn. It's over 1,000 hours, I would say, of instruction in there, so it's pretty good value. So it might have been handy if I told you where to go for the online painting school. Links in the description below. Anyway, let's get going on the video. So very much as we were working in the last video, just going to be using the smaller brushes. So in this instance, this is the Series 2. It's a very good brush for this because it's small enough to give us all the details that we need. There's very little actual technique involved in painting something on a small scale like this, something that's very realistic. In some ways, I often think of it as like colouring in, as you would with a pen or a pencil. But one of the things I'm very careful about is making sure that we keep the paints fairly separate where we can. So while I'm painting this area here, for example, I'm making sure that I pick out in the reference photograph all the different areas of colour and making sure that when I paint them that they don't overlap too much, because we want strength of colour. If we overlap, we tend to muddy things a little bit. One thing that has been brought up in conversation by students in my online painting school is they talk about how difficult it is to paint things like this, like that silver, and to get that look to look real. But really, one of the things I would say when you're painting anything that's reflective is you're not actually painting. I'm not painting silver. What I'm doing is I'm placing colours where I can see them. I break it down so you're not actually painting an item so much, or the colour of an item. I'm just placing colours in the same place where I can see them in the photograph. And then once it's finished, as long as you're accurate enough with where you're placing the colours, it will look like the item you're painting. So don't think of it as, I'm trying to paint silver. How do I paint silver? Do I need silver paints? No, you're just putting colours where you can see them. It's very similar if you were painting grass. You need to kind of get that out of your head that, oh my goodness, I'm painting grass here. I need to do all of these blades of grass. But no, you just paint what you can see. And often what you can see is only a very small part of it. So moving over now to the brown colour again. So this key here, we have the end of it around here somewhere. it's a complete exercise in being able to keep a steady hand. Often, in my case, by holding my breath and trying not to pass out. I think we probably referred to this in the last video, but when painting this level of detail, yes, you do need to have a steady hand, and as you can see here, I'm leaning against a mahl stick, so it's resting above the painting surface, maybe sort of 6 to 12 inches above it. And I'm holding it with my left hand away from it at the bottom, away from the panel at the bottom. So in all, perhaps the mahl stick here is maybe 1.5 inches away from the painting surface, and I'm resting my hand on that so that I don't disturb any of the paint below. And that is an excellent way, not only to keep your hand steady, but also if you need to paint a straight edge. You can use it as a ruler. And I use it all the time. There's nothing wrong with using a straight edge if you need to get a nice fine line. It's not cheating. Some people think it is, but it's not. It's just a way, it's just a tool to get the outcome to be how you want it. So even though we have the sketch here, a lot of the time the sketch is not quite accurate, so this is where I start to adjust any little indiscrepancies to try and make it look a little bit more like the reference photograph. Now, one of the key things with this painting is contrast. It's that contrast that is going to make this look really, really real. And the idea was that I want this, when it's hanging on the wall, to look as if you could just go and take those keys. So the contrast is going to help us with that. The blacks that we're putting in need to be really highly pigmented in order to get one coverage, but to get it nice and dark so that it covers over any of the light background. Having a highly pigmented paint is super, super important if you're wanting to paint realism. And then when that is sitting alongside a colour like I'm doing here, where we've got that much lighter shine on that silver key, that is what's going to make this look really realistic. And there you go. You can see me there using the mahl stick to get a nice straight edge. It makes things so much easier. Messed up a little bit there, but that's the beauty with oils. Very easy just to fix that. The thing is with the key, it gets bashed around. Certainly does when it's sitting in my pocket. So you get tiny little dents on the surface, and that's what I'm doing here. We don't want that to look too perfect, that that area between that light or the white and the grey. So just tapping with the tip of the brush gives us that look of tiny little dents. And then the same thing on the right hand side here. It's actually a really fun little project, this. Really, really enjoyable to do. I do quite like working on a very small image. It's a real test, not only of patience, but of skill. It's easy to paint hyper-realism or photorealism on a large scale. Once that large image is condensed onto something like an Instagram feed or onto a website, it can look so realistic. But doing it on a small scale, now that is where it really, really is tricky. And I love that challenge. So this is an interesting one. So this is, once again, it's I'm guessing, a stainless steel key, but look what colour we're putting in here. This is green. Now, there's no green really anywhere in the background. I can't really see any green that can be reflected off of the key, but they just, these silver items, they just pick up colours everywhere. So we're kind of getting this blocked in at this stage. I'll perfect the blend on this key in a moment, but let's just get the colours approximately right first of all, before we then work on getting the surface to look correct. So for those of you that really do struggle painting any reflective surfaces, there is actually a lesson in my online painting school where I paint a silver teapot with a really, really reflective surface, and it's slightly embossed as well. So if you really want a class that goes into huge details on painting that, the colour mixes and all of that sort of thing, then go and check that out. There'll be a link in the description below. That will really show you how to paint that reflective surface. And once again, using the mahl stick here as a straight edge, and then adding the texture on the key. Now this is a fabulous brush. This is the Series 1. It's available in my online store. As you can see, it's super skinny, very easy to work, easy to get different shapes, particularly good for small lines. But I use that brush in every single painting. this area of key here, there's actually two, one's overlapping the other, but they're really odd when you look at them in the reference photograph because there's just a series of lines that just don't look quite right. And I think it's just the way the light is shining on it. But in order to keep it as realistic with the photograph as I can, I'm going to be painting it in the same way. And I know without the context of being able to see the reference photograph, it looks a little bit sort of strange, but once you see the finished painting, it should all make sense. Okay, so that is the key painting finished. It's quite an enjoyable video, well, quite an enjoyable painting, but hopefully you enjoyed it as well. If you did, why don't you give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos, and also any offers and discounts that I put out, which I do sort of semi-regularly. So if you want to make a little bit of a saving on brushes or my online painting school, then subscribe. Also to my social medias as well, the links are down below. Oh, one more thing. If you enjoyed the longer format, let me know in the comments below and I'll make longer videos. I noticed there is a little bit of a trend going on YouTube at the moment to longer videos. I thought I'd give it a bash. Hopefully you liked it. Take care, everybody.